Welcome back to the show, NWA Connie Corso podcast, where we talk absolutely everything about dogs and sometimes other animals. Today we have Dr. David Silversides out of Canada. Welcome to the show, sir.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's start by just telling the public a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you say, I'm born and bred in Canada, uh, eh, from Western Canada, actually. But I have spent time in the States. I spent 2 years with a very young family in San Francisco. Found the weather too cold there. Moved to Houston, Texas for another 2 years. Family was expanding. Found the weather pretty hot there.
Yeah, for sure.
but I do recognize your Southern accent, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Left some good friends down in Texas.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Got back to Canada, this time to Eastern Canada, where I've spent the last 35 years working at the University of Montreal at the veterinary faculty there, working as a researcher, as an educator, and working in the field of genetics. So that's my field of expertise is genetics for our domesticated animals.
Gotcha. So, thank you for your service, everything you do involving animals, because this is a dog podcast, but the work y'all do go across a lot of different animals, horses, everything, right? Let's start by something you said, domestication. Um, the dog. Can you explain the domestication of dogs, land races, mutts, purebreds, hybrids to the audience?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it all starts out with the original domestication of the dog, that which was way back 15,000 years ago, when we were still living in caves, when we were still hunter-gatherers. We weren't farmers yet. And the dog is the first animal to be domesticated. And there's a good argument that the dog domesticated itself. Because the wolf, so the dog comes from the wolf, comes from the gray wolf. And there's a good argument saying that there was a particular group of gray wolves that figured out that the garbage dump, the human garbage dump, was a good source of food.
Yeah.
But what they had to do is they had to get over their fear of approaching man, which they did. And when they did, they had a survival advantage. And for man, they acted as a guard, as an early warning system, and as a companion and a helper for hunting. So it was a sort of a win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes the domestication of the other animals, domestication of the crops. Man became a farmer, lived in villages now. The dog was still useful. With domestication of our farm animals, the dog started taking on more roles, became a useful animal for keeping track of the herds, guarding the herds, a workmate for the shepherds, and so on and so forth. So the dog has always had a working role. And then fast forward almost 10,000 years, at this point in time, that we have what we can call land races, which are the original breeds of dogs that pretty much develop naturally to respond to whatever task they were being called on for, whether it was hunting, helping with the hunting, whether it was helping with the herds, whether it was a guard dog, whatever. But natural breeds called landraces,
Mhm.
and but the point being that their reproduction was still an open reproduction. They could breed with whomever was there and available. Reproduction wasn't controlled. Okay,
Right.
now get to the Industrial Revolution
Mhm.
uh, in uh, in Europe, and particularly in England, and now that created a middle class with a bit more time on their hands, with a bit more money on their hands. And what did they do? They started looking at the dog as almost entertainment,
Yeah.
dog shows, the competition, uh, and designing dogs to fit what you want them to look like,
Right.
and the advent of the modern dog breed, purebred dog breed.
Mhm.
And the big difference now is that the reproduction is not an open reproduction; it's a closed reproduction. Uh, the uh, the characteristics of a particular breed are written down uh, uh, and defined, and there's a breed book
Yeah.
that in order to be a member of that breed, your parents have to be a member of that breed, which means all of a sudden the genetics for a particular breed are closed. Okay,
Mhm.
and that's what's going to be the topic of what I'll be discussing.
Right.
Uh, the 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 good and the bad of in the genetics of
Right.
the situation. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
I'll spend most of my time talking about that.
Okay.
Now, since okay, we can call the purebred dog breeds almost the heritage breeds this day and age, because now we get into uh, other aspects. We can talk about hybrid dogs, which are a cross between traditional dog breeds to give another particular um, type of animal. But let's kind of put the things back into perspective. Most of the dogs in the world are still have open reproduction, and these are the street dogs and the village dogs in the rest of the world. It's and that represents three-quarters of the dogs in the world.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
It's just in the developed nations, more developed nations, that we have mostly the purebred dogs and the mutts and the mongrels, which in a large aspect are if you come from crosses between purebred dogs. So there we go. That kind of brings us up to date as to uh, where the dog sits.
Gotcha. Um, and when you was talking about the desired traits that that a group of people would identify dog as in the written down traits, we're talking about standards, correct?
That's right, standards.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Um, let me ask you this. We often conflate heritage breeds with modern pure breeds. Genetically speaking, how does a closed registry purebred differ from a traditional land race that was bred from function over form? I mean, I'm asking that because even in the standard, the behavior, the ability is supposed to be in there, besides the phenotypical look.
Okay, well, the original function of the dog. Uh, okay, the dog was a working animal.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it was a working animal. I mean, there's no free lunch. You got to earn your keep. And so the original dog had a reason for being, had a role, was a working animal. Now, with the advent of the purebred breeds, and that happened once again about 150 to 200 years ago, even less depending on the breed. With that, the working function sort of still carried over in the organization of how the kennel clubs present their breeds, the classifications of the dogs. That doesn't mean that the dogs still had that functional role, but they had that functional heritage, if you like.
Right.
And so there are associations that put more emphasis on the working aspect in terms of the breeding, and other associations that put less emphasis on the working aspect, even though the working aspect is still in part and parcel of where the dogs came from.
Right. Then I got one more question on domestication, just on animals, period, overall. When you see the domestication of animals, is it because that man is mostly starting to impede on their territory, sharing territory with scarce resources that causes maybe a dog to start, coming in for food, trusting man, things like that, a little more, where they almost need each other?
Where their relationship together is more advantageous than going it alone.
Right.
Okay. So for dog and cats, probably domestication happened naturally, and the dog or the cat were involved with that more directly. Okay, they domesticated themselves.
Right.
There's we can't say for sure, but there is an argument that can be made saying that dogs and cats had a big part in domesticating themselves, because there was an advantage to living with man.
Yes, sir.
The other domesticated animals, the farm animals, it was more a case of young animals being captured and raised with humans, tamed with humans, and eventually their genomes, their genes, modified to reflect what humans wanted. Okay, so
Gotcha.
they had less choice in the matter.
Yes, sir.
However, having said that, it was still, it can, once again, it's you can argue that the domestication was a pretty good compromise in some aspects. There's an argument saying that the wild horse was on its way to extinction, and it was saved by its relationship with man. And in fact, the domestication of the horse changed the outcome for both of us, both the horses and for man, because it gave us our horsepower.
Yeah.
we wouldn't be where we are now if it hadn't been for our relationship with the domesticated horse.
Absolutely.
And the horse would probably be extinct if it hadn't entered into the relationship. So there's it's hard to get hard and fast facts, because all of this happened, thousands and thousands of years ago. But there's arguments to be made that domestication was a pretty good deal for most animals. Maybe less so for the animals that we eat, but there we go.
Right, right. Okay, thanks for that. All right. The dog as a sentient being versus a commodity. Here we go. So I'll start off with a question here. You describe inbreeding as nature's credit card. If breeders are spending genetic health to buy physical uniformity, at what point does the biological interest rate becomes unsustainable for the dog's sentience?
Yeah. When does inbreeding become a problem? Well,
Right.
this is a whole discussion about inbreeding, which is half of what I want to be talking about today. I want to talk about genetic diseases
Hmm.
in the dog, and I want to talk about inbreeding, and the two are linked together,
Yeah.
and they're linked together by the fact that um, what we want in the animal, what we want in the dog, is not necessarily what Mother Nature wanted with the dog.
Hmm.
And in fact, what Mother Nature set up for all animals is the fact that our genetic system that drives our fact of being uh, is doubled, is duplicated. We have, and we know this inherently, you know,
Hmm.
because we've got two parents. We've got a mother and we've got a father, and each of them gave us half of our genetic complement. And
Right.
that's what Mother Nature set up. And
Yeah.
the question is, why did she do it that way? Um, because she wants variation in this in the genetic system. Okay, why does she want variation? Um, Quick question: do you buy lottery tickets?
My wife does. So, yeah.
Well. There you go.
Yeah.
Um, I can tell your wife how to win the lottery every
Mm.
time,
Mhm.
and I'll do it free.
Let's hear it.
Buy all the tickets.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. So
Yeah.
that's Mother Nature's way of winning the grand lottery in life,
Mhm.
uh, because Mother Nature can't control the environment, but it's the environment that chooses the best animals to be the parents for the next generation. How to make sure that the best animals are out there? Do all the combinations, the genetic combinations. So, you know, emphasize variation so that some of the animals are going to be winners. Okay, buy all the tickets, and she
Mhm.
does that with this genetic system that is doubled. Two parents. Um, okay, that's on the Mother Nature side of things.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Breeders don't want to have variation. They want to have uniformity,
Yeah. Predictability.
predictability. They want to know what's going to come out in the litter.
Mhm.
Uh, and in order to do that, they have to simplify the genetics. Uh, and they do that by inbreeding, okay, which
Mhm.
reduces the genetic variability in the animals. And it's successful. It will give them uniformity, predictability.
Mhm.
But it goes against the way that the genetic system was set up in the first place. So it's a compromise.
Mhm.
You can get the uniformity that you want as a breeder, but you have to be careful to do it slowly, to do it within reason, because if you go too fast, and if you don't accept some variation,
Mhm.
then you run headlong into problems associated with inbreeding, and
Mhm.
then there's a host of problems associated with too much inbreeding.
Right. Right. Um,
So it's like a credit card.
yeah.
Credit cards are good until they're bad.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Inbreeding, I was taught inbreeding is supposed to be a tool, but not something heavily relied on. But this is my question. This is going to be a good one for you. Um, in Mother Nature, her own selection pressure, right? Being that men ain't in control of that, you have a pride of lions. They they don't they don't pick and choose. Say, hey, you're my cousin. You're my mother and father, uh, and things like
Ah,
that.
possibly, I'll disagree with that.
Okay,
There's
let's hear it.
there's studies that saying that for whatever reason, an animal will avoid breeding with its close relations if possible, and
Really?
it involves with it's involved with pheromones and scent, and it's not well understood, but it is observed. Okay,
Gotcha.
given the choice, the animal will not breed to members too closely to it itself.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. Um, let's see here. So I think you covered that. Let me go to the next one. Sorry, let me look at my notes here. The nature of genetics. Well, you just kind of covered that. What Mother Nature wants, what the breeder wants. The effects of pure breeds on the genome of the dog.
Okay, that
Yeah.
that yeah, I think I've talked about that
Uh-huh.
for the purebred dog. Once
Mhm.
again, the breeder wants uniformity, and what a uniformity of phenotype of type comes from uniformity of the genotype, simplifying the genotype. And from
Right.
that comes our in problems with inbreeding, and from the inbreeding comes the problems of the simple genetic diseases.
There
Now
we go.
you made a comment that breeders should be aware and take into consideration inbreeding, but don't get overly concerned about it.
Mhm.
And I'll say that, well, there's two there's two thoughts, and once again, it's a compromise, and I've talked to breeders who say, type is everything, breed for type, and other breeders that say, whoa, no, uh you are putting in jeopardy future generations if you don't consider inbreeding. There's the immediate generation, but then there's future generations also to think of.
Mhm.
So um, you have to consider inbreeding if you want to be conscientious and about the future of your animals.
Let's go into genetic diseases and the problem of recessives. Most breeders focus on avoiding affected pups, but if we aggressively cull, and we just mean remove from the breeding program, if we aggressively cull all carriers of a recessive trait to solve a simple disease, are we accidentally causing a much larger catastrophe for the breed's overall genetic diversity?
Well, we may be or we may not be, and it all
Okay.
depends on what the frequency of that mutation is.
Okay.
So I'll just step back and talk about simple genetic diseases
Yeah.
in the dog. Most of them are recessive diseases.
Hmm.
Okay, and most of that comes directly from inbreeding. Okay, this reduced variability, which increases the frequency of natural mutations. And once again, mutations are natural; they occur naturally. This is Mother Nature's way of encouraging diversity, encouraging variations. Lots of the variations, lots of the mutations won't be advantageous, and in a natural breeding, they'll be weaned out. Um, some of them will be an advantage, and then they result in in and an advantage for the animal for that particular animal and that particular set of genetics. Okay, so most of the simple genetic diseases in dogs are autosomal recessive. That means they're not linked with sex, and it takes 2 copies of the mutation to cause the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than our genetics. Okay. Yeah. In our genetics, first of all, we don't have, okay, the frequency of simple genetic diseases is quite low compared to the comparative frequency in dogs, which is about, it can be 100 times higher for a particular mutation.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, if we had the same level of mutations of simple genetic diseases in humans that we have in the dogs, I mean, we would be marching, we would be running, we would be having financing campaigns to find a cure. Most of our genetic problems in humans are complex genetics, and complex genetics with an environmental component. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the simple genetic diseases. If in humans, if you have a simple genetic disease, it's not good for the individual. It's bad luck, but they're quite rare on an individual basis. In dogs, it's a different situation. How come? Our reproduction is organized differently.
Gotcha. Yeah.
In dogs, if I win a prize for something or other, I win a prize. That's it.
Right.
If a dog wins a prize for something, he gets to be the parent of the next generation.
You get bred, yeah. Which is the popular sire syndrome.
The popular sire syndrome.
Yeah.
And he gets to pass his good genetics on to the next generation. And if he's got bad genetics, he passes that along to the next generation.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to recessive genetic diseases, simple recessive genetic diseases. 2 problems. The first problem is with the animal who's got the disease. These diseases generally they don't have treatments, and you live with it or you die with it.
Right.
Okay. So the individual animal is a problem. Second problem, it's the animal that's healthy, the parent of the animal that was that's affected, who's a carrier, a silent carrier. And to have an affected animal, you need 2 parents that are both silent carriers. Now, that's a problem for the breed.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of that?
Yeah.
You have to identify those animals.
Yeah.
And traditionally, it was not easy. Okay. But in the last 15, 20 years, with the advent of DNA technologies, it has become much easier to identify the carrier animal, and so much the better. I mean, these are tools. These are tools that we can use to help us out. Now, back to your question. We've identified a mutation. We want to get rid of it. We can get rid of it. Does it cause a problem if we get rid of all of the carrier animals? It depends what the frequency of those carrier animals is. If the frequency is high, yeah, that causes a problem.
Yeah.
If the frequency is low, no, you can get rid of them all. Do a cross breed screening, identify the carrier animals, and don't use them. Now, if the frequency of the mutation is high, and there's good examples of that. There's good examples of both cases, high frequencies, low frequencies. If the frequency is high, then you don't want to get rid of all of the carrier animals right away. You want to slowly eliminate them, still use their genetics because their other genetics is good. The trick is to use a carrier animal mated to a clear animal, and then you've eliminated the disease.
Right.
You have not eliminated the mutation yet, but you know, do that after several generations, and there's good examples of breed associations that have organized themselves. They've got a disease that's problematic. They've got a DNA test, but the levels of the carriers is too high to eliminate all the carriers right away. So they do it. They accept, you know, 2, 3, 4 generations of carriers, still not allowing carrier to carrier breedings, but accepting carrier to clear breedings. Do that for several generations before you say, okay, it's time to cut out the carriers.
Gotcha.
So you can approach that whole question with a little bit of intelligence to sort that out.
Right. So I want to squeeze in a Doberman here because it's been a big topic. They have an issue with is it DCM, where they're health testing, right? But this disease might not show during the health test, but later on, 6, 7 years down the road, it may pop up. Is that something you guys are studying? That DCM, cardiomyopathy, something?
Yeah, they Dobermans do have a couple mutations involved with cardiomyopathy. It's true. They're both dominant diseases. That means just one copy, and they both increase the risk of having cardiac problems. Now I can discuss what risk means. Okay. Risk means risk. It doesn't mean destiny.
Right. Yeah.
So the animal can have the mutation and may or may not have the disease, the problem, the medical problem at some point in time in the future. Yes, it's there. Yes, it does increase the risk, but it doesn't predict the destiny of the animal. But it should be taken into consideration. Okay, you bring up the Doberman, and you could probably make the same case for any number of the purebred breeds.
Yes.
Okay, that have their own set of problems that are of a concern. Okay, you bring up the Doberman, and I will suggest, or I listen. I don't know. I don't know the details. I had to look it up myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do my homework. You made me do my homework.
Yeah.
Which is good. And we haven't even started talking about Cana Corsos yet.
Right.
I do my homework there too.
Yeah. We're going to that next.
Okay, good. Okay, I would suggest that the associations for the Doberman are more proactive, and I see that with other associations. It depends on a human aspect. You can have breeder associations and individual breeders that are more proactive, less proactive, whatever. in terms of these diseases. But what I saw, and I just looked it up for the Dobermans, what I saw could almost be applied to any number of breeds.
Right.
You know, the mutations are there, the diseases are there, the breeders are concerned. Okay, there was a question about how do we increase the genetic variation. There's too little genetic variation. Well,
Right.
we're back to the inbreeding problem. Too
Okay.
little genetic variation, yeah, and that comes from closed breed books. That comes from the popular sire, on and on and on. That comes from what we want in the animal, not necessarily what's best for the animal.
Right.
Okay, so
Dr. Silversides, let me interject something right there. I'm gonna ask a straight up and down question from a breeder's perspective because I know the topics. So with the state of the Doberman, that we know it's not enough genetic diversity. Is it ever a time that a purebred dog, another type of dog, should be added into that gene pool?
okay, I will answer as a geneticist. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Mhm.
That will solve a bunch of problems.
Mhm.
That will solve genetic problems. That will open up the genetics, let the genetics breathe a little bit. That will help on the genetic side. The problem is on the human side.
Uh-huh.
Okay, with the breed associations, with the closed breeding books, the pedigree books, and with this aspect of being able to predict what you're going to get in the litters.
Mhm.
This predictability, this once again, this whole compromise between type and inbreeding is this. But yeah, that would be from the genetic point of view. From a genetician's point of view, yeah, outbreeding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, that was done for the Dalmatian breed,
Yeah.
back in the 1980s,
Uh-huh.
because for bad luck reasons, the Dalmatian had a double mutation for a, um, a gene involved with urinary problems. Okay,
Mhm.
uh, making it susceptible to urinary infections. Okay,
Mhm.
HUUs, hyperuricuriuria, is the name. Whatever, that was recognized, and once again, that increases the risk. That does not give you the destiny. But the risk of urinary problems was increased because of this. What was the solution? Well, one solution was to outbreed the Dalmatians to another breed. I think it was the English setter, English pointer, English
English
pointer.
pointer. Okay.
And although that was initially accepted by the people in charge of the association,
Mhm.
it was rejected by the members, the breeding members. How come?
Right.
Because you're outbreeding and you're not allowed to outbreed.
Yeah.
So it's a human problem.
Right.
And then they had to wait 25 years, 25 years before these outbred animals who are, you outbreed in the initial generation, and then you breed back to the Dalmatian, to the point that, you know, those dogs with a corrected genotype are Dalmatians. And it took 25 years before that those breeders and got their association, allowed their association to accept those animals. So yes, outbreeding is the genetic solution, but that causes human problems.
Yeah. When you speak about human problems, do you think the way we think, we got some people that, now I'm a guy that believes in a total dog, right? But we got people that believe in a show side and in a working side. And that's another division. Do you think it's some breeds that has enough genetic diversity in it, but being that the mentality of our minds won't work together, can hurt the breed as well?
Okay, I'm not well placed to answer the human questions.
Yeah.
I'm not a breeder.
Yeah.
I've definitely had dogs in my life. I grew up with dogs. I feel that I know dogs and understand dogs.
Mhm.
Uh, we we don't have a dog in the house right now, but we walk our neighbors' dogs, and we know all the dogs in the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
Um, I've worked with breeders.
Mhm.
Uh, the breeders that I've worked with have been are the good breeders, and I've got a lot of respect for them. And
Mhm.
they're smart, they're sharp, they're good people.
Yeah.
But I cannot really comment on, you know, how the industry is
The
organized.
culture, yeah, the culture of the industry, yeah,
The
yeah,
culture. No,
yeah.
I'm not coming from there. I'm coming
Okay,
from
got you.
somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, understood. Let's talk about the Connie Corso. We have a genetic disease in there that's we have to be really careful with, which is DSRA,
Yes, sir.
digital skeletal retinal anomaly.
Yep.
Uh, what do you know about that?
Well, I know what I had. I know what I looked up
Yes, sir.
when when I found out that I was going to give this course or this podcast, and I looked it up, and it's relatively recent, and I had to update the website that I host, which is a subtext for our discussion right now, which
Right.
is the website is
Yes, sir.
labgenvet.ca. Um, I had to update the information that I had on that site to include this disease.
Hmm.
Okay, so what can I say about the disease? It's relatively recent that
Hmm.
it was identified, and we're in an very interesting era, time, because of the DNA technologies that are available now, which the power of them. Uh, a disease can arise and it can be studied, and a mutation can be identified, and a DNA test can be put in place very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what's happened with this disease. It was identified in Europe. It was studied. A DNA test was put in place. It seems to be a good validation. Yes, this is the mutation that is the cause of the disease. It's recessive, which means, once again, the problem is with the animal. With the double mutation, he's a sick animal. But the other problem is the carrier animals that are healthy. Um, what's unclear from my reading of the scientific literature, um, what's unclear is what is the overall frequency of that mutation within your breed. Okay, we've got convincing data for European animals.
Mhm.
What's the frequency in North American animals? I don't know.
We don't know that. Okay. Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Still, the disease is something to be aware of. And if and the DNA tests are there, and as a conscientious breeder, you should be testing your animals used for reproduction for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is how we make advances.
Right.
We're
Right.
we're in a good period of time for eliminating the simple genetic diseases that we've put up with for sometimes for decades and decades.
Hmm.
Now we can start eliminating them, or we already have,
Right.
and new diseases will continue to come up. How come? Because mutations are natural, and the way we breed the dogs is such that we concentrate their genetics. Once again, they're good genetics and they're bad genetics. Eh, And so these diseases will continue to pop up occasionally, but now we're in a position that we can identify them, we can do something about them, we can get a DNA test, we can eliminate them, and actually quite quickly, such that um, a particular disease might be associated just with one pedigree for a breed, and then it's snuffed out. Good enough. Before it has a chance, before the mutation has a chance to break into the larger breed, okay,
Right.
population of larger breed, we can do that. What it takes is organization, a little bit of money, the political will to do it. But I mean, this is what we should be doing. We have the technology, we have the responsibility now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Yeah. There's no excuses.
There's no excuses,
Yeah. No excuses now.
and we got to work together.
Yeah.
Work together with the geneticists, with the research scientists, with the associations to do what is right for the animals. You know,
This is true. This is
there
true.
we go.
So yeah, so I'm glad you pointed out it's something that we'll be continually to fight, but we have the technology to do it now.
We got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and even with the hybrid animals, we have it's a pretty big. It's not a new movement, but it's pretty heavy band dog movement. Just a bunch of mixing dogs. Um, there let me get before we move on, let me go ahead and go here with this hybrid vigor. Can you explain that to us and how it is obtained, how it is
Okay.
kept?
Okay. Hybrid vigor is the flip side of the coin of uh, inbreeding problems. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, Inbreeding problems come from a lack of genetic variability. Hybrid vigor comes from increased genetic variability. Once again, Mother Nature loves variation and set up the system to give us genetic variation. Okay, hybrid vigor is where you've got a certain level of uniformity, and then you do an outcross, for instance, which increases the variation, and the genetic system responds to that. There's going to be less less genetic disease, less frequencies of the simple genetic diseases, and just in general, better growth traits. Now, this has been known for more than a century.
Hmm.
And it's been known for animals, it's been known for plants. And the big genetic plant companies use this to their advantage to make hybrid corn, for instance, which grows better than the original lines used to make the hybrid uh, plant. Uh, and that's great, and that's what they sell. They sell the hybrid plant, and it grows very well in the farmer's field, and everyone's happy. And the trick is, it works for the first generation. And then if you use the seeds from that hybrid plant to plant the crop the next year, you don't get it anymore because you get genetic variation.
Yeah, yeah,
You get too much variation. So the genetic companies are actually protecting their intellectual property, selling the hybrid plant that has better characteristics, growth characteristics, but protecting their intellectual property because you can't use that hybrid plant to get the uniformity that you want in future generations.
Okay, so the hybrid vigor comes the first production, the F1s, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, you will you will have it uniformly in the first generation,
Yeah.
and you can have it individually in subsequent generations, but not on average.
On average, yeah, yeah. Um, okay, you answered that point. Um, when you start with when you start with a hybrid vigor or try to obtain that the first is that usually from uh pure species on both sides, right? And then the
That's right.
combination.
Yeah, a pure breed on both sides, combination of two separate purebreds
Gotcha. All right.
of the same species.
Of the same species. Okay. Gotcha. All right. That's what I needed to know. You cleared that up. You cleared up something big that's been talked about in
Oh,
our
okay,
community.
okay,
So yeah.
good.
Uh, okay. So where did we go? I kind of lost my. Are we going into sequencing, DNA tech, CRISPR technology? Is our next
Well,
topic?
no, we're not going to go into CRISPR technology because that's something else that doesn't really apply
Okay.
to our discussion.
Okay.
But the DNA technologies, I've already mentioned that briefly. So the human genome got sequenced and put in the public domain in 2001. The dog genome was sequenced and put in the public domain in 2005. So that's 20 years ago, and since that time we've had a real revolution in the technologies involved in DNA sequencing, in genome sequencing, uh, such that once again uh, we can analyze the disease, analyze the genetics of a disease really quite rapidly
Mm.
to identify, okay, for a simple genetic disease, this is the mutation, this is the problem mutation, and we can develop the DNA tests, and we can offer those DNA tests. Now, who's offering the tests? There are a number of DNA service labs that are offering these tests. And it's at this point in time, and what has developed in the last several years is the DNA service labs are what? They're owned by big multinational companies, and they have a direct to consumer marketing strategy.
Yep.
Uh, so, and I'm coming from the veterinary domain, and
Mm.
I'll have to say that the veterinary profession was kind of left out in the cold for all of this, or not quick enough to react to what's actually happened very quickly. Uh, well, be that as it may, so much the better. These tests are available. Uh, they're being uh, they're being offered by for-profit companies, which is fine. Um, the because the and the technologies involved are actually pretty incredible technologies. And I'm saying that from a research point of view,
Yeah.
from a scientific point of view. These are very solid, interesting technologies. But they're being sold to the general public, so the general public is paying for very interesting technology that will give a whole bunch of results. And for an individual breeder, the individual breeder for a particular breed, it's only a certain percentage of those results that are going to be relevant, and the rest is just packaging.
Yeah, just mumble jumble. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah.
And so, but that's what it is. The companies are for-profit companies. They will, and there's several big ones that are in competition for the marketplace. And the marketplace is the general public and the breeders.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I tell the breeders is, because they ask me, what's the best company to go with, and I don't go there because that's not my job. I'm not working for these for these companies.
Right.
The fact what I say is to the breeders is, you have to do your due diligence. You have to do your homework. You have to find out, what is it that you want? What is it that you need for your breed?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, test your breeding animals initially. But once you've got your original breeding animals tested, you don't have to do continuous testing of every puppy that comes out. No, you can count
Mm-hmm.
on what the parents were, because mutations don't come up that frequently.
Mm-hmm.
They're, the genetics of the next generation is going to be a reflection of the genetics of the previous generation.
Previous.
So
Yes,
if
sir.
you've got genetic tests for the parents, then that's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a known mutation within your breed, well, breed responsibly. Don't breed a mutant, a carrier animal to a carrier animal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you bring new animals in to your breeding program, know the genetics of those new animals, either from the reputable person that you bought the animal from, or do the genetic tests again to satisfy yourself.
That's
And
right.
I've seen both things happen. I've seen breeders that uh, trust their own results, trust the results that they've generated, or they've purchased, whatever.
Right, right. So let me let me ask this question, because you're talking on something that's this it's a big deal, and sometimes it causes confusion, and with the explosion of direct to consumer DNA kits, how do we protect puppy buyers from over interpreting genetic data with the guidance of a veterinarian or master breeder, because they get, oh my god, they get overwhelmed when they see these
Oh
this
yeah,
mess.
and they call me. Well, it's a problem. It's a problem about information, uh, reliable information, access to that information, and the business model of these companies,
Yeah,
which is to sell a product,
yeah,
not and they will provide information, but the information may not be complete. And then there's a whole aspect of interpretation of that information. And I can say that okay, and I know what happens. the breeder buys the kit, gets the results, doesn't know how to interpret the results, isn't satisfied with the information that they get from the company. Okay, I'm in Quebec. The working language here for the breeders is in French. The big DNA diagnostic labs offer their service in English, so there's a language problem there.
Oh, yeah, that's
in,
true.
in addition to just interpreting the biology and the genetics, so the breeder doesn't know how to interpret. The breeder goes to the local veterinarian to get some help. The local veterinarian has not been trained in this, because this is relatively new. You know, this is as of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years at the max. So yeah, and the veterinarian does not work for these big companies.
Right.
So it is a problem. It's a problem about information, reliable information, unbiased information, and it's a problem of access to that information and education. You know, and that's why I set up the labgenvet.ca website as an unbiased source of information for all of this, for the genetic diseases and for the inbreeding, to help. Well, I set it up first of all. In French to help the veterinarians here in Quebec, and then to help the breeders here in Quebec. And then I said, well, you know, I can translate it all into English to help the breeders and the veterinarians in the rest of Canada. And then with the two aspects, the two languages, to help the breeders and the veterinarians in the rest of the world.
That's right.
And I just did the just worked out the statistics for 2025, and there's over 300,000 users for 2025 on the website.
Yeah.
And over 2 million pages that are accessed. So I mean, it's being used, and so I'm happy. This is actually, I've just retired.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is my retirement project, to put this in place, make it free, make it accessible. So I encourage your listeners to get onto the site, look at the site, labgenvet.ca. It's there for you, for the breeders, for the veterinarians, to address this question of, what do we do with this information?
Right.
Is this relevant? Is this not relevant? I mean, and it all depends. You know, it has to be evaluated for the genetic diseases. They tend to be very specific for a particular breed. A particular breed will have a list of genetic diseases. And now, are those diseases important for the breed? That depends on the frequency. Okay. And at some point in time, yes, the mutation has been found in the breed. No, the disease is not particularly important or relevant for the breed, because the mutation frequency is so low. Yeah, it was detected, but it's not particularly of concern to the breed. But then, as the frequency increases, the disease becomes more and more pertinent, more relevant for the breed. Now, the diagnostic labs will sell a package of where they test 250 disease mutations,
Mhm.
and that sounds really good, you know. And actually, it's I it's in the right direction, but there's marketing involved.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
heavy marketing.
and you have to interpret that from the point of view of what are your needs,
Hmm.
what's important for you, and you get the whole package of results for the same price, but it can cause concern if amongst breeders who get excited over things that it doesn't warrant excitement. You have to look at things in perspective, and things that are not pertinent. Um, and so if you go on the site, if you look on the site, there is a section on mutation frequencies by breed. Okay, that was I was able to put together from because for about 10 years I had um, a diagnostic lab based at the university here. And then when I tried to find my replacement, nobody wanted to replace me.
Oh, you've been in that position too? Well,
Yeah,
you don't have to find your own replacement and get out of a job.
yeah. So the unfortunately, well, whatever.
Mhm.
I had to close down the diagnostic aspect of the lab, but I kept the website up, and it becomes now this hub of information for the breeder, for the veterinarians, uh, unbiased information because it's not funded by any of the companies. I'm not working for the companies. This
Right,
is independent. This is my giving back to the profession,
right.
to the area. Uh, so and there's three main bases, three main aspects of the labs uh, of the website. There's the genetic diseases. There is an inbreeding calculator. You can calculate your inbreeding coefficient if you know your ancestors. Uh,
Right.
because I mean the genetics, the basis of the genetics is all the same for
Man,
dogs,
yeah.
cats,
Uh-huh.
us. Okay, so there's the genetic diseases based on breeds, because it's all based on breeds, and
Mhm.
within that there's a section on um, breed frequencies for a given mutation,
Okay.
which you need to know to be able to interpret. Okay, is this disease important for my breed, or is it not important?
Right.
Evaluate.
Right.
So I challenge you. I ask, go onto the site, look up uh, Corso, look up the diseases. Okay, the disease section is organized for the disease itself, for the breed, okay, and for
Mhm.
the medical system. And you can do searches and cross reference. And then there's a section on what is the frequency for a given breed. What's the frequency of a particular mutation?
Right.
So it gives perspective. At least that's what I'm trying to present.
Dr. Silverside, let me do you one better here. Let me just go ahead and share the website so they can see what you're talking about here.
Okay, good
Can you
enough.
see it?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay.
There's
All
the
right.
dog. There's the cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So so I would go to dog genetic disease research, right?
okay, click on the dog. Start out. Just click on the dog, and
Okay. Is
okay.
that is that right?
Oh, okay. So this is This is the dog page.
Yes,
And
sir.
the way it's broken, the way it's organized is the first section is for the genetic diseases with a disease search. It's a database. Okay,
Yes.
the known diseases, the described diseases, cross-referenced with the breeds. Then another section on the frequencies for the mutations. Okay, we're going to go through that individually. That's followed by another section, inbreeding calculator. And there is a calculator that that's based on pedigrees that you don't have to pay any money for.
Right.
It's free. The whole thing is free. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's an educational section to go further in depth for different topics. Okay, if we go back to the top, the dog genetic disease search. Okay, click on that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to do a search for you. Do you have a breed in particular that?
Let me think about it.
Okay, we
Okay.
we could search by individual diseases, or we could search by your favorite. You have to be able to spell it. Yeah,
Tony Corso. Here we go.
there we go. Okay, so these are the known genetic diseases that are described for the cane Corso.
Yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned dental, skeletal, and retinal atrophy. Well, click on that,
Okay.
and and it will give you an overview now of the disease, of the genetics of the disease, of the age of onset of the disease, a description of the phenotype, the clinical signs of the disease. And here I have to write these paragraphs respecting my audience.
Right.
Okay. And my audience are the veterinarians,
Yep.
and the breeders, and the individual owners. So I'm not writing an academic thesis here.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I've got to write it in a fashion that is brief but pertinent.
Yeah, because I like here, Dr. Silverside. Sorry for interrupting you. Right here at the bottom, it tells you what's going on. Disrupted function of collagen genes due to mutations with the collagen genes themselves are responsible for oculoskeletal dysplasia.
Yeah.
OSD phenotypes described in dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've cross-referenced things now. So that's a couple other diseases that are similar, have some similar aspects. Okay, the skeletal aspects of your particular disease, which is dental, skeletal, and retinal atrophy. Okay, the skeletal aspects they're similar.
Yeah.
So I've cross-referenced things, and then I've given links to the scientific literature. If you want to go further,
Right.
with
Right up in here, right? The references, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Let's look at one.
okay, go to the. Okay, so this is the big grandfather website for genetic diseases in animals. It's organized out of Australia, and it is what its strength is its completeness, and its weakness is its completeness. It's targeted for the scientific community.
Yeah.
Not for breeders.
Right.
So it's there. It's absolutely solid, but there's too much information.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go back.
Okay. Yeah.
Click on the 2021 Christian.
Yeah, I got you.
This is the relevant. This is the relevant scientific article that describes the disease the dental, skeletal, retinal anomaly seen in cane corso animals. And it's, it's absolutely solid also, but it's scientific. So it's going to be difficult for the general public and breeders to, make sense of it all. Now, if you go back to the disease page, okay, go up. And so what I've tried to do with a little description of the phenotype is make sense of it all for the audience, and you guys are the audience.
Right. Stuff here for cats, cow, horses,
Yep.
everything. What's more? Let me click on more. What's that about? Okay, the mission history.
Yeah.
Okay,
Read
cool.
the history. I mean,
And donate too. Y'all can use the funding, right?
well, in another couple weeks. Well, that's true. It's free to use, but it's not free to produce. My
Right.
time is free. I'm retired. This is
Yes,
my project.
yes, sir.
But hosting fees are coming up
Okay.
quite quickly, and yeah, that costs something. And I will be having a GoFundMe campaign in another few weeks. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll put that out too. Make sure you send me some information out there, and I'll share that on my platform so we
I
can
will.
keep supporting.
Okay, go back to the dog.
Yes, sir.
Go back to now frequencies of genetic disease mutations by breed. Look at that one.
Okay.
And this was put together because there's one of the companies, it's Applied Biosystems, has actually published their data on over 1 million tests in dogs, which is great. That makes things relevant, but it's out there. It's in the public domain. It's in the form of a massive Excel file.
Yeah. We need simplicity here.
and well, so I took that file and I said, okay, this isn't good for breeders and for veterinarians. We have to dissect it. We have to break it down. Okay, so go down and it's organized by breeds. Keep on going down.
Okay, got it.
There's the dog breeds. Find the Cana Corso.
Connie Corso.
Yeah, there you go. I can't even pronounce
Oh,
it.
look at there.
So there we go. This is what the what the big DNA service lab found with their samples. Okay, now you're going to notice some things. There's a number of diseases. Other breeds have more diseases. Some breeds have less diseases. The disease that we just mentioned, dental, skeletal, and retinal atrophy, it's not on the list.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because the companies use DNA chips for doing their analysis, and the right probes for that particular disease were not on the chip. The disease is too recent.
Okay.
So this is good information. It's not necessarily all the information. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully there will be an update at some point in time in the future, and that will. It took me. Okay, there's what 250 diseases that were tested for that. There's over 200 breeds. It took me 1.5 years to compile this information.
Yeah.
But it's cold up here, and what do you do in the winter, hey?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, there are diseases here that are more relevant and less relevant, depending on what the frequency of the of the carrier animal is. The higher the frequency of the carrier animal, the more relevant the disease is. The lower, the less relevant. Well, at some point in time, you have to draw a line saying, okay, this disease, yes, it was that the mutation was seen. That doesn't mean that the disease is a problem. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, you have to draw a line, and it's an arbitrary line, somewhat arbitrary, and so I put it at about 2%. Okay, about carrier frequency. Above that, yeah, you should be concerned about this. Below that, not so. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't get overly concerned over some test results. Other test results, yeah, but that's the whole key of being able to interpret things. And so that's what I'm trying to present the information, and this is published information. This is evidence-based information. Trying to get it out there so that the breeders and particularly the veterinarians can interpret things in an unbiased fashion. There you go.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Go back to the dog page.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And now the inbreeding calculator is the other half of the genetic problems.
There you go.
Okay, there it is. It's a 4-generation calculator. You don't have to know the names. You don't have to type in the names. You don't have to get your animal into someone else's system and pay money to do that. No, you just have to have 2 pedigrees, and you can compare those pedigrees and do a virtual breeding to bring coefficient of inbreeding numbers into your breeding strategy.
There you go.
do a virtual breeding to say that, okay, this particular batch is good, but this other match I don't want because it gives an inbreeding coefficient too high.
Okay. There we go. All right. Then right here you got, for more information on inbreeding and the inbreeding calculator, go to Genetics 4.0, evolution, breeds, breeding strategies, and inbreed. Okay, look at that.
Just click on whether it's dog, cat, or horse.
Okay.
It's there you go. Evolution of dogs.
Look out, Dr. Silversides. I see you now.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Yeah. It's all organized for education, getting good information, reliable information, unbiased information out there to help the breeders, to help the veterinarians, and to help the animals. Once again, the animals can't talk. They're not part of this discussion. They should be. Breeding strategies, etc. Right. So there we go. The internet is a pretty incredible thing. It's all out there, all the information out there. I tell the students that you have the knowledge of, you have the information of mankind in your pocket with your cell phones. All of the good information, all of the bad information.
Yeah.
All of the ugly information.
Yeah. And that's the big problem in dogs, like these topics here. I made a funny post the other day. I said, boy, it's a lot of self-proclaimed geneticists out here in dogs, and so I'm glad someone like you is visiting my show, because I want to be I'm protective of my audience. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I'm presenting, good stuff, because we hear a lot of stuff when it comes to the internet. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's the problem. All the information is out there, and how do you sort out the good from the bad? And you do that by education.
Right.
And so this site is to help educate.
This is pretty neat. All right. Yeah. Well, Dr. Silverside, I think we got it all.
Hey.
But I got one last question.
Okay.
If you could give a State of the Union address to the world's kennel clubs, what is the one genetic tool or mindset they must adopt today to ensure their breeds still exist in 100 years?
Whoa. Education.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And put the concerns of the animal above your own personal concerns. Think of the animal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once again, we started out saying that animals, dogs are sentient beings, but they're also a commodity.
Right.
We use them for lots of things. We use them for what we want out of them. Keep the sentient being in the picture. Breed, thinking about the individual animal, but thinking about the breed. Don't chase after whatever the latest fad is. Be careful about the popular sire effects. Keep inbreeding in mind. Accept a little bit of variation, and respect the animal. There we go. I think
absolutely. Dr. Silverside, I appreciate you coming. I really think you gave a very fair assessment, which a lot of people are not fair when they discussing information. Anytime you're welcome back, discuss anything. We truly do appreciate you.
Okay, well, it's been my pleasure. And once again, my job is to get the word out there. And if you can help me with that, then that's mighty appreciated also from my point of view.
No doubt. All your information will be in the description box of this video for sure.
Okay.
All right. All right, sir.
Yeah. Stay warm.
Yeah, I'm going to try to fight this ice storm we got coming. So here we go.
Okay.
All right. Till the next time.
Okay.
I'm out.
And that wraps up another episode of NWA Connie Corsos. Thank you for being a part of our Connie Corso community. Remember, you can stay connected with us beyond the podcast. Find us on all major media platforms by searching for NWA Connie Corsos. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, just hit that follow button to join the conversation and get the latest updates. If you have a burning question or want to apply to be a guest on our show, we'd love to hear from you. Simply shoot us an email at nwaconniecorsos@gmail.com. And if you're a business interested in becoming a sponsor, reach out to us at the same email address. For more resources, exclusive content, and links to all our social media profiles, visit our website at nwaconniecorsos.com. It's your go-to destination for everything dogs. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we can't wait to bring you more exciting episodes where we explore the fascinating world of dogs.